obviously a very good ball game. Hackenberg did a really nice job. He had enough velocity that the fastball was in play. He mixed it to both sides very well. The identification of that breaking ball is a really good breaking ball, and we had a hard time recognizing the spin and the depth. It was late, it was good. Up and down the lineup, we struggled with it. I think Jaime probably did the best of recognizing it. It was hard to sit on because he did mix the fastball in enough. That was a very good pitching performance. They played good defense. Whitaker pitched well. Whitaker, pitches to contact. We know that, and some of those balls worked their way through it. Probably a play that hurt us defensively we should have made, but the right-hander did a very nice job. Armstrong, one of the best outings I've seen him have. He had his fastball to both sides. The slider, worked away to the lefties nicely, and he threw some decent changeup. So he continues to evolve, and Whit gives you everything he's got. I'm in a loss. I'm proud of the competitiveness of the at-bats late in that game, and they started to figure Hackenberg out a little bit, and you couldn't ask for a better at-bat out of Tibbs. He hit the ball that hard with obviously nothing to show for it. Just another very difficult loss.
You talked about the breaker from Hackenberg and the depth and the velocity it comes into. I guess, is that one of the better breaking balls you guys have seen this year, or one of the best?
Yeah, Brett, I think it was one of the better ones, but it was the command of the breaking ball. He was throwing it in any count. He's throwing it 2-0 counts, 1-0 counts. With 2 strikes, he could get it down, and they felt like it was so tricky to identify, and then it didn't get to the plate is what they were saying. So it was just such a tricky pitch to uncover. And his fastball velocity, I don't know, was it 92 to 95 most of the game? We didn't have many opportunities to run. The short game, there just weren't a lot of opportunities, but late, and we found ourselves kind of in a position where you would take your chances there with Tibbs at the end. If it came to that, you can't ask for a better at-bat out of him late. And if you backtrack through the 9th inning, that's all you can ask. And I know it's another loss, and that's not the concept of this, but in that defeat, you want to see that fight till the end, and clearly they did.
With Whit and Army taking up 9 innings, does that help a little bit about your
helps a lot.
Picture for tomorrow, and who might you start?
It helps a lot, and we'll go in and break it down. But it's nice to have Montgomery back, and Arnold's hopefully feeling a little bit better, and so he's in play. And then we haven't used a couple of the guys after Wednesday night, so I think we're coming into this tomorrow feeling probably better than when you walk into this today. And Whit's going to give you a good outing, and we've asked so much of Army, and we always want to make sure before we get those guys really going that they feel right, and we're protective of what they're doing in terms of the usage. So we'll be in good shape for tomorrow.
You mentioned with Whit, you usually just feel good coming to the park with him, and he seemed like the sharpest today with command, but still gave you guys a good outing. Just how much of a luxury is it when you come to the park, though, knowing he's starting every week?
Yeah, he gives you everything he has. He gives you everything he's got in the weight room. You ask him to help with charts, you're going to get the best performance there. So the trust level is very high. We did a good job today of mixing in. His changeup has been his go-to, but against that lineup, that's a good lineup of left-handed bats, and I thought he did a really nice job. We used the slider a little bit more to kind of offset the fastball and the changeup working away. There's not a huge velocity separation between his fastball and changeup, so he used his slider very well and worked that thing in and threw some fastballs in. And I know he had a couple walks, but all in all, it was a very competitive outing again out of a guy that we all trust and love.
With all the left-handed hitters they have, just how much did you like that matchup for Army, and how pleased were you with the execution of the break and stuff?
It was great, and the only thing I've seen in my short time with him is sometimes with the lefties, it's a different feel sometimes when you're throwing when there's a left-handed hitter versus a righty, and sometimes guys like throwing to the righty in, and they don't maybe throw the fastball away to the lefty, which you would think is the same pitch, but sometimes there's a more inviting visual look when you're trying to crossfire the fastball and go in on the righties. And today, I thought he really got that fastball a little bit more away to the lefties, which set up the breaking ball off the plate and down. And he used his changeup. We've been really trying to work hard with him and Jamie Arnold on having that changeup in play when you do come into a string of righties. So our Army did a very nice job today.
Titans batting average isn't where you'd like it to be, but I mean, you're giving him some good at-bats, and he's getting some opportunities here. What is he showing you?
Well, out of the gate, like the ability to manage that fastball, like when you're pinch hitting, he jumped on some fastballs early in his time here. And then as you settle into it, obviously your opponents do their work on knowing, who swings early and what they've swung at. So I think trying to then make the next step, and you're not just going to get fastballs early in the count all the time. You're going to start to see the good slider, and the lefties use that changeup. So I think it's that pendulum of the aggressiveness early in your time, and then having to groom the at-bat a little bit more as you learn that you're being pitched a little bit differently. And that's something Cam's had to go through, and Jaime and Tibbs obviously have had to go through it, but Diamez as well. It's just kind of the evolution of how you're being pitched and what that stuff looks like. And I think we've seen that pendulum start to swing back where Titan is better with the quality of the at-bat overall, fastball and some of the secondary pitches.
Excellent. Thanks, Ian.